Hi Capricorn, I'm going to be doing a self-love tarot reading. These are general messages. If it doesn't resonate with you this week, go ahead and come back next week. Maybe I can help you then. These are general readings, or these are self-love readings. They're also general, but they're also self-love designed for spirit to indicate areas where, we might be like letting ourselves down, or maybe we're just not being authentic enough with who we are. And spirit's like, hey, do better. I just don't want to get these reversed. Okay. I do a 6-card spread, Capricorn. And then the 7th card I do is always spirit message, so you get a direct line. I shuffled a little bit before. That was good enough. Let's get started. Capricorn. In this first position, it's going to be how you're feeling currently. In this second position, it's going to be something that spirit really wants you to prioritize, take notice of, be aware of. In this second or the third position, it's going to be something that, maybe we put on the back burner. Maybe we said, it's just not important right now. I'll deal with it later. And Spirit is saying, like, now is the time to deal with it. Pull it off that back burner. Pay attention to it up here. The fourth position is going to be an area that Spirit wants you to acknowledge about yourself. Self-love is all about self-acceptance, and it's really hard to accept parts of ourselves that we won't acknowledge. So that's difficult. Spirit wants you to acknowledge it. And this fifth position is just something Spirit wants you to let go of. So maybe it doesn't serve you anymore. And the fifth position, or the sixth position, it's going to be something Spirit wants you to acknowledge. Maybe it's something you're aware of, but they really want to draw your attention to it. Maybe it's not something you're aware of at all. And seventh, like I said, is Spirit message. I will clarify later on with the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck. They are beautiful cards. I will show you everything as we go. All right, Capricorn, Spirit is telling me that you are not feeling well. Wow, okay. We have the Tower here, Capricorn. What's that about? I know that they seem very destructive here, and they can be. But a Tower moment doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could just be an event, something that changes things, right? So right now, you could be feeling like you're going through changes. You could be feeling like you are being destroyed from the outside in. Fun universe. I love it. Honestly though, like, this could just indicate to me that you are going through changes, and they might not be like the most fun changes. And then Capricorn, I would say to you, well, welcome to Earth. We all go through changes. That's literally what life is about. And they're not always fun changes. They aren't. But the positive thing to remember about the Tower is that the next card in the tarot is the Star. And the Star is all about brand new beginnings, right? So if you're in this position right now where you're not feeling too good, don't worry, Capricorn, it might not last. Let's see what the universe has to say. See? There you go. Well, no, I don't know. Anyway, in the area that Spirit wants you to prioritize, Capricorn, is this Success card. And if you look very carefully, she's the only one I have with actual pentacles. Success. 6 of Pentacles. Pentacles raining from the sky. I make it rain, I make it rain. Spirit is saying right now to you, Capricorn, that you might feel like you're going through these changes, but what really is important to focus on, what you need to prioritize, is your material success. This could be for like any reason, honestly. I mean, if you think about it, if you're going through changes, or in any situation really, what's the best thing to have? You have to have money, unfortunately, honey. Gosh, if I was in control of the world, we wouldn't even use money. We would use miniature horses. I mean, sure, someone would have to come up with the technology to shrink horses, but can you imagine walking around with people having horses in their pockets all day long? Let's do that. I'm just kidding. That is from Vermin Supreme. I don't really like horses that much. Anyway, if you're going through this Tower and things are scary, well, then the best way to work on that stability is to make sure that you have something that's yours. So even if the Tower comes crashing down, you still have a backup plan. If you're going through these changes, Spirit is saying not to focus so heavily on the changes and more on your stability. That is what the point is, Capricorn. Which I would think that most Capricorns are actually probably very focused on their coin. I know a lot of Capricorns. My youngest sister's a Capricorn, and that girl makes bank. Like, it's so irritating because I have to struggle to work and make money, but like money just comes to her. It's just like, yeah, making $18 an hour, and I'm like 17 years old, and it's like, that must be nice. So happy for you, Capricorn. Good for you. I just want to check, because I try not to read reversals, but this one did come out, and it's the only one, so maybe I should leave it. It's not the only one. So here we have, in the area that Spirit wants you to prioritize, Capricorn, and this is kind of makes sense to me because you're an earth sign, is emotions. Look at that. Yeah. So Spirit said that in this position of something that maybe we have stopped focusing on, or an area where we're not being like 100% our best. Like, we're not doing our best. We're kind of letting ourselves down. And maybe we know it, maybe we don't know it. But Capricorn, I had this Prince of Cups, but he came out in the reverse. So Spirit is telling me that you are not being forthcoming about emotions that you have. You do have emotions. You know that they're in there. They might not sound like regular people's emotions. It's probably just like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I like that person. I want money. You know, no, I'm just teasing. I'm super teasing. But if you do have these emotions, if you do have these feelings that you know about, and especially if they're coming from this tower, universe wants you to, well, they came out in the reverse. So this would be like, do something about it. And the universe is saying that these feelings that you have, you know, putting them on the back burner for right now might be a good idea. If you're going through this tower and universe wants you to focus on success, then it's entirely possible that the universe doesn't want you to be so heavily focused on your emotions right now. And that's pretty fair. If something is like going on and you're getting busy, then the more attention you can give to that, or in this situation, the more attention you can give to your own stability, is probably the best place to put your attention. It's very interesting that the universe made us individual, but made us a bunch of us, you know, so we can be individuals together. That's super weird. But this doesn't indicate to me that you can't ask for help in any kind of thing. If you're going through this tower, it might be prudent to ask for help, you know? Oh, I'm sorry. What I was trying to say was, like, if you're going through a tower, if you're going through a moment where like things are stressful and you should really be focused on yourself, then maybe focusing less on feelings that you want to give away. Focusing on yourself first. Self-love. Sorry, I got a little lost in my explanation. I see a lot of the time that, you know, they say that self-love is selfishness, and that's not true. My point was is that the universe made us individual, but they made us all together. Because while we are individual, we do have to spend the rest of our lives with other people. So I'm not telling you that you shouldn't go after other people. I'm telling you that right now you should focus on yourself. I'm not saying that self-love is you being selfish. I'm saying it's you being self-focused. I hope that makes sense, because there's a huge difference. I hear a lot actually on like TV or on Instagram or YouTube that self-love is like about being selfish. And that's not true, because while we are individual, we are here with a whole bunch of other people. Your life will always include interacting with other people. They're just saying right now not to make it like a romantic interaction because you have other things on your mind. And that's really fair. I think that's fair. Universe wants you to acknowledge le fool. The fool. Le fool. That's the henchman to Gaston in The Beauty and the Beast. Le fool. He's the fool because he's not very smart. Neither is Gaston. But the fool is representative of being excited. Okay, so like the idea is that you're setting out on this new journey, and it might not be a new journey. This could just be like a new chapter to your journey. But the idea is that the universe wants you to showcase excitement for that. So you could be going through this tower right now. You could be massively uncomfortable, and the universe is like, nah, act like you're enjoying it. Act like you're excited about it. Something in your life is crashing down, but that just makes way for new things. Woo! I'm trying to think about a good example for this. So let's see. A divorce. I'm not seeing a divorce here. I'm just saying like an example would be a divorce, right? So, well, I've never been divorced, but My parents got divorced, which was great because they were terrible together. Terrible. So me, knowing the divorce was coming, everyone's like, oh, I'm really sorry your parents getting divorced. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's the best news in the world. They are terrible parents together. Individually, well, my dad's good. My dad's a good dad. I don't know if he could dad by himself, though. He isn't really the most focused person, but he's a great dad. Just, together, it was awful. And so, yeah, we know that this thing is coming to an end, and it's a little unfortunate, whatever, breaking up a family. But there's excitement because the way things were really shitty. And now it's going to get better. So the universe says they want you to showcase that. I think that, even though I'm making a joke, that if you're going through a tower, the best thing to focus on, the best thing to remember is not just like this new beginning, because that could seem far away and out of reach. But if you are going through a tower, try to remember death. Yeah, you could die, and that would just make things better. I'm just kidding. I always think of cycles, right? And when we see the death card in tarot, he never makes me feel like afraid of death. I always just see him as like the end of a cycle. Depending on where you live in the world, you probably have seasons. Maybe depending on where you are in the world, the seasons don't know what their seasons are, because yesterday it snowed here and it's April. Excuse me, weather, snow stopped in February. Get your shit together, okay? Depending on where you are in the world, you get seasons. And the seasons they change, right? They're never the same. So yeah, summer is great. Summer is so great. I love shorts and 70-degree weather. That's what I'm designed for. Honestly, I'm from Hawaii. That is really what I'm designed for. Love summer. But I also really love fall. I love fall. Oh my gosh. Apple cider, layers, sweater weather. Oh, sweater weather. I love it. Right? And I know that even though I love summer, I love being out, I love being on the lake and the ocean, hiking, all kinds of things, I know that fall is going to come right after summer. So as much as I love summer, we have to say goodbye to summer and embrace fall. And then when fall is amazing and fall is great and everything, but then we have winter. And I'm not a huge fan of snow or being cold or having my shoes or socks or toes be wet in any kind of way, but I love food. And winter, Christmas. What's the other one? November, October. What is it? Oh, Thanksgiving? Yes. Oh my goodness. And Halloween. Halloween is my favorite freaking holiday. And yeah, technically it falls in the fall, but really it's snowing by then, so it's winter, okay? The point is that they all change, things move on, and we have stuff to look forward to. So if you're going through a terrible period right now, or a period that makes you uncomfortable, or a period where you're unhappy, or a period where you feel like things are really changing, just remember that change is a part of life. And it can be hard, it can be uncomfortable, but it can be exciting. And so the universe is telling you there's something new coming for you. Don't be excited about the new if it's not there yet. Be excited about the ending of something that's not working for you. On about midsummer, I'm really fucking tired of summer. I'm just like, I've got my 6th sunburn, and I'm just like, okay, I'm ready for it to be cool again, There's always something, there's always a silver lining kind of, right? So with my parents, when they got divorced, my parents were not good parents together. In fact, they were probably worse people together than separate. And even if both of them had been able separately to be parents, together they were just so much in each other's way that they didn't do a good job. And while I was sad that my family broke up, now that I'm in my 30s, I make fun because it's trauma. But at the time, it was sad. I have a younger brother and an older sister, and so for the three of us, it was just kind of what's gonna happen? But in the long run, it was better. And so universe just wants you to kind of acknowledge any of the things that you're glad you're leaving behind with this tower. If you're losing your job, what were parts of your job you didn't like? If you're ending a relationship, there was probably parts of the relationship you didn't like, otherwise you wouldn't be ending it. Or the other person. I can think of like thousands of things about my exes that I didn't like and why I'm glad we're not together anymore. My last ex, the least funny person on the planet. For like a year, I didn't even laugh except at my own jokes. And like, I didn't realize that until after we broke up. And I remember sitting there across from him and thinking, wow, you're like white bread. Yeah, it's good sometimes. But I'm never just like craving white bread. The fuck. Anyway, so there's always things that we can like acknowledge that we're glad to see go. And I feel like in this case, your Fool is more of that. The excitement to get away from what wasn't working. Also, when we clear away things that aren't for us, it does bring in new space for things that are for us. So let's say you just lost a job as a pet groomer. Now, that's a difficult job to lose because seriously, I would love to spend all my day with pets. I really would. But maybe you are gothic. Yeah, and you wear a lot of black. And as you're grooming these pets, pet hair gets everywhere too. We know how pet hair stands out on black. Now you can get a job as a receptionist at a hair salon, and they all wear black. See, there's a silver lining. There's always something that we don't like, and something that's better for us just waiting around the corner. The universe wants you to let go of the Prince of Pentacles. Look at this bowl. Oh, the Prince of Pentacles. A bull has crazy amounts of strength. Yeah, no, it's super true. A bull is very, very strong. They can run very, very fast or moderate distances, honestly. I've seen a bull, like, run all the way to the other side of his pen just because he was irritated. So, like, I know that they're very strong. I know that they're very powerful. I know that they can get places. The problem is they're not very good listeners. Yeah, a bull won't do anything it's told. It would never do that. I'm actually going to get online after this and look up, like, bulls doing tricks. Like, can you get a bull to sit? I bet probably not. Unless you, like, train it from a very, very young age. And what would you use as a treat? Grass? Berries. Do they eat berries? I'll look more into bulls. But my point about this King of Pentacles, this Knight, Prince of Pentacles, is that the bull can move. The bull just doesn't usually move. It just doesn't usually do what it's supposed to. The Prince of Pentacles is somebody who is extremely studious. When he does decide to move that bull, when he does get control back, what he is going towards is absolutely what he wants. The problem is that he doesn't move. A glacier would be like flying past this prince. He'd just be like, all right, we're on our way. And the glacier was like way out in New Zealand. And he's still like, yep, I'm coming. And then the glacier gets past New York and he's like, I'm on my way. And now the glacier's like way out near Mexico. Probably like melted completely because it's much warmer down there. And our prince still hasn't moved. So Capricorn, what I'm seeing here is you're going through this tower, but maybe whatever it is, you're just kind of sitting in it. This could definitely be if you're unhappy about it. Like, let's say it is a breakup. Breakups can be really, really difficult to deal with. Super difficult. Take it from someone who has actually, like, really not done well in the past, you know? So, it could be extremely difficult, okay? You could be, like, laying on your floor for, like, 4 months, and you're like, only thing you can do is this. Yeah, and, like, none of your friends want to hang out with you because you've stopped being fun. Sorry. What can I do? I only can do what I can do. I can't do anything else. I'm bad. Okay, so like breakups can be really difficult, really painful. And like we can look at it and say, oh, I'm missing out. Oh, I'm losing out. Oh, I lost out. Except that if somebody breaks up with you, then that's really your win, right? Because they didn't like you enough anyway. Or they just couldn't do what it was, or they didn't have what you needed, or they couldn't provide, or for whatever reason, it's really a good deal. Like, that's dodging a bullet right there. If you're in this period, in this tower, don't stay there. Don't just sit down and dwell on what upsets us. It doesn't do well to dwell on the past, Harry. Harry Potter quote right there. It doesn't, though. It really doesn't. And like I learned that from Harry Potter. Like you can't just sit and be stuck in it. Yeah, it took me like 4 months. It did take me like 4 months to get off my floor. And not only that, but like when I would go out places, I didn't have enough physical energy to like remain standing for long periods of time. So I would literally sit on the floor. Like I remember one time at the grocery store, and I'd gotten my meat and my veggies, and now I had to get all of my dairy stuff. I'm like, I just couldn't. I sat there with my back against the spaghetti rack, or the spaghetti sauce, and like, I just had to sit in those grocery stores, probably on the floor for like 20 minutes. Honest to goodness. It's depressing. It's depressing. And you feel like you lost something, but you haven't lost anything, because what's for you, Capricorn, cannot be stopped. If you're losing out on something now, it literally just means it wasn't for you. Keep moving. Keep moving forward. Think about the things that you're leaving behind that you won't miss. And if you're breaking up with somebody, it's probably because he didn't pick up after himself. That's just truth. Let's just be honest. Yeah, they probably are, very messy people. They make a bowl of cereal and then spill some of the cereal and then they just walk away and leave it. Oh, I didn't even notice that. They smoke cigarettes in the bedroom and then tuck their butts in between the mattress and the sheet. You don't need it. You don't need it, Capricorn. Oh my God, you don't need it, okay? Like, whatever it is, there's parts of it that you're glad to see go. Focus on that. Keep moving. Don't slow down. Oh. All right, something the universe wants you to acknowledge. I'm not saying that any of this is relational. I'm just trying to give examples because I don't know you personally, and I'm not really sure what you're going through. Whatever resonates for you, take that. If it doesn't resonate, that's probably because I'm talking about myself. Oh my God. Universe wants you to recognize, be aware of the 7 of Cups, Capricorn. Debauch, okay? For me, I just look at their legs. They're really intertwined here. And like he's loving up on her and there are cups everywhere. I think with this position here, Capricorn, what it's saying to me is, or what's saying to you is the universe wants you to acknowledge that in your life there is some of this entanglement. There is some of this sensuality, okay? Even if you lose out on whatever's happening now, you're not going to lose out on yourself. Let's say it is a relationship and say you are going through a breakup. You're not going to lose whatever part of yourself makes you attractive. You got that person in the first place. You will be able to get another person. You don't have to worry about that. People find you attractive, Capricorn. You're successful. You're stable. Literally just like walk into a bar or anywhere and be like, water signs! And then whichever one puts up your hand, that's for you, okay? I would say air signs, but like they would want to go out and do stuff. And like individually, Capricorn, I'm not really sure how you're like with that. But water signs, we love to not do anything. We are huge on not doing stuff. So like when you want to do stuff, we'll not do anything. And then when you do want to do stuff, because sometimes you like to do stuff, we can sometimes want to do stuff too. Okay? You are not unattractive in any kind of capacity. You're not. So don't worry about that, okay? You are still very lovable. You are still very sensual. Again, water signs. Now, something the universe wants you to acknowledge, and I don't think that you're doing it, and it came out in the reverse, and I'm going to leave it this way because it definitely goes with what we've seen so far, Capricorn. The 10 of Swords. It says ruin, but it came out in the reverse. You feel like you're going through this tower. You feel like something bad is happening. You feel like there's some kind of transition and nothing good is going to come from it. But the universe is saying you are not in ruin. Okay, this 10 of Swords, it's not what you think. It's not the end. So Capricorn, we're going to go ahead and clarify. I feel like the message is pretty clear though, but let's just, really quickly, might as well. So we said right now you feel like you're going through this tower, like a crisis, or just like a shakeup, or just some kind of changes. Maybe you weren't ready for them. Maybe you view them as negative, but overall the spread says that they're not. Integration. Something about this tower is teaching you something about who you really are. About your higher self, like that, the calling, right? Something about this tower is teaching you something, and then whatever it is that you learn will lead you to better patterns of self-love, healing, and to this next step. Something about this tower is bringing in truth, integrating truth about who you are, what you want. I always think that when things end, right? I'm a dismissive attachment style, so it doesn't bother me. Really? Things ended? That sucks. Next thing. It doesn't bother me as much. But I always personally believe that when things end, there's a reason. Everything in my life that has ever ended, I'm glad about. Except for that one thing. Man, that sucked. Okay, so universe said stop focusing on the tower, focus on your pentacles, focus on your success. And the clarification for that is new day. When we put our time and attention into this success, or into our pentacles, or our material stability, it's going to bring about that different mindset, right? So right now what we're focused is on, bad stuff. Changing our mindset and focusing on, good stuff. Which is basically what self-love is about. It's reshaping those habits that we learn throughout our lives that we use to give away. When we grow up, we realize that we have to please people as we grow. You want to keep your parents happy, you want to keep your teachers happy, you want to keep your bosses happy, and that teaches you to give parts of yourself and your energy away. Self-love is learning about changing those patterns and getting back. This is that change. Not focusing on the bad, but focusing on the good. We're going to get to duality at some point, and then we'll reshape that message. Forgiveness, okay? I always see this card, and I think how important forgiveness is. Because again, yes, we're individual, but we do live with other people. Forgiveness is huge, especially for giving ourselves emotional space from a problem. If you're going through this tower, which could be a breakup, it could be, fight with your family. It could be losing a job. It could be maybe the death of your cat. I'm really sorry. Whatever it is. When we go through these towers, they do have like a negative effect on us. They can. And the universe is saying, hey, don't stay stuck in that. But we want to be able to give ourselves emotional space from it, right? That it took me a very long time to realize that this is a thing. Because when we are in a relationship, when we're in a work situation, we're putting emotional work into it, right? We get stressed about it. We put that into it. We get excited about it. We put that into it. We love parts of it and we put that into it. That's emotional work, right? Okay, so if we put emotional work into it, what we also have to do when it's over is give ourselves emotional space from it. We do this with physical things, right? When we break up with somebody, we take physical space. When we get fired from our job, we are given physical space, right? But we also have to take emotional space too. If we've been in love with somebody for a very long time, then it's really, 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 really hard to emotionally give ourselves space. But when we forgive the situation, when we forgive the other person, and especially when we forgive ourselves, we are saying that this is how the situation went. If this person were more mature, it could possibly have gone differently. If the situation were different, it could possibly have gone differently. If I was different, the situation could have gone differently. In allowing ourselves to understand, one, what the problem was. Obviously, there was a problem. Two, how the problem ended. And three, what role we played in that problem. Then we can say, in the future, I can handle that situation differently. If I had known this at the time, I could have handled that situation differently. But we sit in our brains and we ruminate on how something happened, how it happened. How could I have made it different? How could I have done differently? How could I have changed the situation? What could have happened? Nothing. I'm really, 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 really sorry to tell you this, but nothing could have been different. Because at the time, you're dealing with a situation that is the way that is, with a person who is the way that they are, and with you who are the way they are. However, we don't stay stuck in situations. It could be the very next day you leave the situation, you go somewhere else, you talk to somebody else, and you realize I could handle the situation differently in the future. You don't have to keep making the same choices over and over again, reacting in the same ways over and over again. We can make different choices in the future. And by knowing that and by accepting that, we can allow ourselves space. Just as an example, just really quickly, my relationship with my mother is actually very bad. It just wasn't what you would think of a mother. Like, it just wasn't. And for a very long time, I was mad at her about that. Her inability to give me what I think that I deserved. I was a kid. I really was, for a very long time, actually. Actually, for a very, very short time. It just seemed like a long time because adults refused to acknowledge the fact that I was actually way more mature than I should have been for my age. But the point is, I was mad for a long time. I understand her. I do, as a person. I understand what her life was like and what she went through and how all of that worked against us and against our relationship. It sucks. I can't change the past. And I've met many, many women along my life that have proven to be a mother to me in one capacity or another. Honestly, I've been very, very lucky with my female role models. And sometimes it does bother me. Sometimes I'm still learning ways that, like, our relationship not working out has affected me. That's annoying. But my mom, she's not the best person. She just isn't. She just isn't. And things now wouldn't work out either. I know that. But I don't blame myself or her for our relationship anymore. I don't. I don't even really blame the situation. My mom went through a lot of tough things growing up. A lot of tough things. And if she hadn't, she wouldn't have been this way. And so I can forgive her. And I can move away from blaming her. The situations, oh man, I was in a lot of bad situations. It's crazy what kids can get up to when they have no parental supervision. None, you know? Those situations, I could blame myself for getting into them. But I was a kid. What did I know? Nothing. And where was my support and supervision? Nowhere. So I look at the situation now and I think, okay, so the situation was, a lot of them were shitty, but I know myself, and I know that I wouldn't put myself in those kinds of positions now. Also because I'm an adult and I can think my way through things, and I know when situations are not right. So in that way, I can give myself emotional space from who I was when I grew up and the situations that I went through. And that's what I think that this situation calls for, is emotional space, forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive the person, forgive the situation, Capricorn. And in the future, remind yourself, sit with yourself, think to yourself, I don't have to be the same way. And if I am not the same way, I will not get into these situations. There you go. That's self-love in a nutshell. And I think it was like the last 3 minutes. If you just want to watch that part, that's probably the best thing. So forgiveness. I think it's super, super duper important. Forgive the situation. Acknowledge that it will be different in the future. Acknowledge that you'll be different in the future and that person might be different in the future, and that those situations don't have to replay. We said that universe wants you to focus very heavily on not moving towards other feelings right now. Whatever you're going through, that's what you need to be focusing on. Focus on your pentacles, your stability, and if there are feelings you have towards another person, just put those on the brakes right now. Just right now, just pump the brakes. Focus on yourself. I think that's great. Yeah, I feel like focusing on yourself is going to bring in a lot of joy, especially if you can put that emotional distance between you and this tower situation. Focus on self-love, Capricorn. We said the universe wants you to focus on this excitement, or the idea of something new. Just, if that's a little too difficult, focus on what you didn't like and how you're glad to be away from those aspects. Omens. What kind of signs are you seeing in your daily life, Capricorn? What indicates to you that you need to move forward and make changes? Use your discernment, okay? If you come out of this tower, you don't need to be a radically different person afterwards. Sometimes girls, I know that we'll cut our hair off. Don't go bald. You know, just make it, don't cut. Just add highlights, ombre, balayage, right? Don't do anything crazy. Use your discernment. Because we're coming through this tower, we now have a plethora, probably an entire list of red flags we can look out for the next time, right? For whatever the situation, learn the lesson so you don't have to go through the tower again. We said the Prince of Pentacles was somebody who was really slow moving, and the universe wants you to get gumption. Get in your chariot and get on your way, Capricorn. Let go. Let go. Inner journey, yeah. I think, Capricorn, is what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find your motivation for this, okay? It's inner journey. How do you want to be different? How do you want situations to be different in the future? How do you want to change? The universe said to acknowledge the debauch, the entanglements, the romance in your life. You are not going to be a different person once you come through this. You're going to be a more mature person, a more experienced person, but you're not going to be like a different person. If you were capable of love before, you were capable of love now. Retreat. Maybe this is some time away for some debauch. You know, if you go through this this transition and you focus on your success, there's no reason that you can't get rewarded when you're done. Growth. Yeah. I love these situations. Not because they're good, not because they're fun, but because really you do grow. You know, we're all just trying to get to that next step. The universe is saying that while you feel like you're going through all of this terrible stuff, what they want you to do, what they want you to know, is that you're not in ruin, that you're okay. Masculine energy. Well, that's lovely. Okay, what I really like about that masculine energy thing is it's always, feminine energy is about figuring out how we feel, sitting with ourselves. Masculine energy is about going after what we want. Changes. I think if you sat down and you really thought about it, Capricorn, you probably do want to go through some changes. There probably are changes that you would like to embrace. So embrace them. That was our last card for this, Capricorn. I'm just going to give a real quick recap, even though I think the message overall has been very concise. You're going through this tower moment right now. Don't not focus on it. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to the red flags, any of the things that you didn't like. Pay attention to how the situation is making you feel. Because in the future, you're going to have to go through it again. I mean, that's the thing. This is your lesson. And in the future, you're going to have a test. And this is going to come back up for you. And the universe wants to know that you can not dwell on this tower, that you're going to focus on your success. You're going to put yourself, with your relationship with yourself, first and foremost. Focus on the things that you're glad to get rid of. Focus on what you want to move forwards towards. You need to keep moving. You need to keep moving, okay? Because you're not in ruin. This isn't the end for you. Universe is saying it's just bringing in changes, and changes are not always bad. Capricorn, my email address is in the box below. If you need to talk or if you want to try a free personal reading, let me know. I really hope this helped, and I hope you have a good day.